welcome back to the chaos. So it's finally time to start touching the interior of my 2008 Nissan 350Z. So we're gonna start out with the one thing in the car that you touch the most, the steering wheel. So we're gonna ditch the stock one in replace of a carbon fiber wheel. So it'll give the interior a little bit of a spice and hopefully feel a lot better driving. We have quite the setup. So we actually have two different steering wheels. We have a deep dish and then a flat one, because we're gonna see exactly which one fits in the car better. So the best way to find out is to actually install both. And then we got an NRG quick release as well as a short hub. But these are both carbon fiber wheels. All right, first and foremost, the most important thing so you don't get blasted in the face with an airbag is make sure you disconnect your battery, because that's the last thing you want is end up in the hospital trying to do a mod on your car. So that's number one. So we've already checked that off our list. So next thing, there should be two little tabs, like there's plastic tabs up underneath here on each side of the steering wheel that we're gonna try to pop off. We should just be able to take a screwdriver and very carefully get in here and just pop these little plastic covers off. Oh, actually it works better if you use your fingernails. But there's just one on each side. It's got like this weird little hole in the middle of the star, but that's what this thing takes. So I actually had to special order the tool because I didn't have anything like that on Amazon. It was 12 bucks, but that way we can get the steering wheel off. I'm just trying to get up in there and crank on it. Oh, there it goes. You just need a lot of leverage. So I'll loosen this side and see if I can bust this one loose too. So of course, with all the videos I've watched and everything, everybody makes it look so easy. Like, oh yeah, you just, you know, pop the caps out, take those screws out, and then you're good to go. Well, of course, it's such like a soft metal that it's stripped really bad. So this is on the like closest to the driver's side, but it's jacked up. So we're gonna have to take, from everything I've researched, and that's kind of what's held this process up, from everything I've researched, we're gonna have to drill it out. All right, so after drilling and drilling and drilling on the side closest to the door, I'm actually gonna maybe pull the side closest to the passenger. I'm gonna pull that bolt out just to see what it looks like, because I don't know what I'm dealing with, but I've chewed up the other side pretty good. So I'm just gonna pull this side out. Which of course this side comes out so easy. This is what I was hoping not to have to resort to, but I've got in there with a Dremel and just gonna cut that whole tab off. So hopefully that'll allow us to pull the airbag out. So as you can see, it's probably hot, but this is our tab. I just cut that whole thing. And now our airbag is out. That's the whole point of this whole operation. This is like step one still, unfortunately. Now we're still gonna wanna be careful with this. And I'm curious to see once we actually get in here how bad I've chewed everything up. But this is the scariest part, because we have to disconnect the airbag. So it should be, there's like these two black pins we gotta pull up. Let's see if we can get a dart underneath the little black clip. Oh great, I broke it.
Well, moved up.
Okay.
There you go.
So kind of wedge it.
There you go.
Not in the front, but in that hole. So they actually kind of get some leverage underneath, and they actually just slide up and out. So they pop out fairly easily. Ooh. Oh God, now we got the bomb out of here. Let's see if we can break it loose. I wonder if I should lock it. Okay. That should have broke it free though. All right, we're gonna loosen it, but not take it all the way off, so that way I can hopefully loosen like the steering wheel itself. Oh, sweet. I guess in the process, it's good to go. Big nut, we need that later. That's what we were after the whole time. Cool. Nice. Now's the fun part. So we have our short hub from NRG, and what we're gonna do is slide this on here. That way we can add our quick release and everything. Before we do this, so we're gonna have our airbags, and mine was like the base model Z, so it didn't have any of like the steering wheel controls. So it actually works out great for us because we don't have any more nasty wires to mess with. But we do want to retain our horn, and then our airbags, we're going to deal with it in a second. So we're just going to unclip this horn on the side, because this is being replaced with a part from NRG. So it's got like a longer lead on it. So this should be our new horn. So we're just going to clip this in, and it should slide in just like the other one came out. All right, so it clicks, and then with the NRG wheel, you're gonna see there's a little line on your spline, and then this rubber nubbin. We're gonna make sure that's gonna all line up, and there's actually a dot on the top of your short hub, and there's a notch for that little rubber nubbin to sit in as well. So we're gonna try to line that up and feed our wires. There's a nice little opening down here at the bottom to feed the wires up through. I don't know if you can tell, there is a little gap, but I guess that's normal between your plastic piece. But everything, I mean, it feels snug on there. So now we just got to put the bolt on. All right, so now that we've lined our puzzle up with the spline, the dot, and the nub, and got our short hub pushed on there, now we fished our wires through. So now we just got to put the big nut back on. And it says, like looking it up, it says to crank it down between 22 and 28 foot-pounds, but we're just gonna snug her up. So we'll crank on her. All right, so she's on there. Give it a good and then now we're gonna shove. The NRG kit comes with like these resistors, so that way your airbag light won't stay on. And so you're actually just going to take them, and when you pulled your airbag out, the orange and the yellow were kind of sitting like that, and you have to pop the black pieces up, those tabs up, and then pull them straight up. So if you flip them over, there's like two little eye holes, it looks like. So what you're going to do is shove these two, so this is what this looks like. The pointy ends, you're just going to shove them down in those little eye holes. So they slide in pretty easily. Just go as far as you can, and that'll prevent your light from coming on. So shove both of those in there. So we have our mess of wires still hanging out, so we need to get rid of these. So I'm going to pull, the only one I really care about at the moment is our horn. So I'm going to tuck everything else, because the next step is going to be to put like our quick release adapter on here. And so it sits flush, so all of these airbag wires can just kind of tuck up around the nut and in this space up in here. Just careful as you're tucking, just to make sure like these little resistors don't come out of the holes, because they seem to want to walk around on you. All right, so now that we got that plugged in, the next step should be to attach this to our ground, which is this dangly boy here. So now this has got to be hidden in there too. Getting very tight around in here. And it comes with the screws, so we'll start threading those in. Now I just hope none of those wires are pinched, but I'll just snug these down, and I'll do it in the star pattern, but then we should be able to move on. So now I actually have a decision to make. So they're both carbon fiber wheels, one's from NRG, one's from D&D. We got a deep dish wheel, as well as a flat carbon wheel. So we need to figure out at this point which one is gonna fit the best. Both awesome looking wheels, but gotta make a decision. All right, winner, chicken dinner. We're gonna go with the flat wheel, but we're actually not gonna install this one today because I wanted to test fit first, because I actually have a special plan. As beautiful as the carbon is, we'll leave some carbon accents, but I got something special in store for this wheel. So now that I know that we're gonna go with the flat one, we're actually not gonna install it. We're gonna set it aside. Like I said, we're gonna do something really special with it. So for now, I'm gonna deal with the deep dish and run that one until we get to do our little project with this one. So we also have a choice on the different style of horns. So you can tell between this little guy that just fits kind of in the center. I don't know if you can tell. Fits in the center like that. And then you still have your bolt holes that just kind of clips in. The problem with both of them is they're both male connections. So we're gonna have an issue with that no matter what. But you got the choice of this one that just kind of clips in, or the bigger one that kind of sits all the way around. So I think we're actually gonna go with this one. I guess it really doesn't matter at this point because this is kind of a temporary setup, but we'll see which one maybe is easier for the time being. But there are two different styles. So let's bolt, we'll bolt the steering wheel on first and then worry about the horn. Crank them down in a star pattern, then we can put our horn on. So for the horn, we should just be able to push our connector up there, because our horn will go on like that. Okay. So now hopefully my horn works. I guess before we pop it on, I should plug the battery back in.
Yeah, and test it then.
All right, so we kind of, we hit a snag because we were getting to the horn part and I was like, oh, let's test it. So went and reconnected our battery and the horn would not shut up. So fortunately, and we spared you the misery of taking everything back apart. So we had to get down, take the quick release off, didn't have to take the short hub off, but so we had to get back down to this part and just back all these out because we had pinched the wire, so it was making a connection, but spared you all that. So now we've actually got it back to where we can put the wheel on. Let's on it up, snaps on. It's got a good connection, and so we've got our horn wired up correctly now. The problem is it doesn't exactly fit in the hole too well. But at the same token, because this is a temporary setup, I don't want to force it. So I mean, it's on there good enough. I feel like for daily driving, as long as I don't mess with the quick release too much. Because I mean, you see, I just took the wheel off and then it popped this horn off. But the horn actually works. The button works. As long as I don't mess with it, it's there. But I think it looks pretty good. This gigantic gap, like, I feel like that would just be too ridiculous for like daily driving. But so we'll get the flat steering wheel in here. But I do like the look and the feel. Like, it makes it feel more race car. All right, first impressions, it's a little odd. It's definitely very close to me. So we're just gonna take it down the street and back. But everything feels tight. I mean, it feels good. I love the look of it. but it is very close. Like I'm feeling a little claustrophobic, but I can't get over the look of it. I mean, especially like this blue, like the quick release itself, to match kind of like the blue trim like we have on the wheels, as well as our shifter. So that's kind of, I was wanting to tie that together. But yeah, I love the look of it. It's just, it's a little weird to get used to. So I mean, I got a good view of my gauge cluster. So I mean, that's important, that's good. But yeah, if I'm turning, I'm used to just kind of doing this number, and now I'm a swing and a miss because there's nothing there. So I have to reach a little bit, but that's just, you know, I can adjust to that. I feel like, you know, because most people obviously are using it to race. So if like you do retain some of the daily driver features, like your on your stalks, like your windshield wipers and stuff, you would want it. You do want that extra space, just because like your hands are doing so much moving. You don't want to be flipping your windshield wipers on, flat, you know, signaling people on the track. So I think for that reason, it would be good. For daily driving, which is 90% of what this thing does, it's a little weird. But I absolutely love the feel of it, and the look. That carbon really sets it off. Like I don't like the stock look at all. So I'm pretty happy with it. It feels good. I appreciate everybody watching. If you will, please subscribe to the channel. Hopefully take our mistakes today, and hopefully that way you won't repeat them. So learn from us. But I do appreciate everybody watching. Catch you in the next one.